Hey everybody, this is Travis Shaw with the Jesse Norman School of the Arts, and this is the third lesson in our totally free, online beginner guitar course. Now, in the first two lessons, in lesson one, we covered just a basic introduction to the guitar. How do we talk about the guitar? How do we get around the guitar as far as communicating positions and places? In the second lesson, we talked about tuning the guitar, which is absolutely essential. So in this lesson, I want to actually start playing just a little bit. Really not get at the point where we can play a song or deal with some real melodic material, but I want to give you just a couple things to do to kind of coordinate the two hands, right? Because that's really important in the beginning stages. And I wanted to see if I could make this lesson a little bit more succinct and a little bit more to the point. The last lessons were about 20 minutes long. I want to see if I can kind of like get in there and just deal with the brass tacks, so to speak. Really get to business, you know? So I'm going to show you this exercise that I have almost all of my beginning students do that really helps just be able to coordinate the two hands and give you a little something to work on, okay? And I call this exercise the finger spider. I love this exercise. And it's super, super useful, okay? But it's really simple. So there's a couple of different ways to deal with this. And I think for the online format, where we're not in the same room with each other and I can't really see what you do, I'm gonna show you I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible and just keep it really clear and really easy. Now remember, when you're playing things that are simple, you want to make them sound beautiful. You want to make them sound as pretty as you can. And a lot of that comes from the right hand, from the pick, and just kind of playing with a light touch. You don't want to hit the strings too hard because you'll overplay the strings. It kind of plank, plonk, right? And you want bum, bum. You want a nice sound. But we're going to line up the two hands. So we got to start with the left hand, or the hand that you're going to use to grab the frets over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the high E string on the guitar. So remember, Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. This is the highest pitch string. It's the high E string. We also call this string number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the highest pitch string. I find it and I go, okay, here's my first fret, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is the 7th fret. This is where I want to be for my finger spider. Grab the 7th fret of the high E string, push that string down all the way into the fingerboard, figure out where my string is over here, and just with a really light touch on my right hand, just get that note to come out. And I kind of focus on making that note really light and beautiful. And I'm like, oh man, listen to that wood resonating. It's really nice. Now, after I play the 7th fret with my first finger, I put my 2nd finger on the 8th fret and play that note. And then I put my 3rd finger onto the 7, 8, 9, onto the 9th fret. Now, one of the things I like to try to do with the finger spider is I like to try to take these 3 notes and play them in a row, like 7, 8, 9. Okay? Makes sense? Then I'm going to take my first finger and move it to the 6th fret. And then I'm going to take my first finger and move it to the 5th fret. right? 1, 2, 3, or frets, 5, 6, 7. So all I'm doing here is I'm playing the high E string, and I'm starting on the 7th fret, and I'm putting down fingers 1, 2, 3. Then I'm taking that first finger and moving it from the 7th fret to the 6th fret. Doing the same thing again. Then I'm moving my first finger to the 5th fret. And that's it. That's my finger spider. And it's really, really simple. Go super slow, be super light, and enjoy the sound of each note. Now, I start this on the high E string, and I started on the high E string because the high E string is the easiest string to play on the guitar. So that's where we start almost all of our beginner stuff. That's where I like to start my beginner stuff. Okay? And I like to start up around the 7th fret because this is like the middle of the fingerboard. And when you're in the middle of the fingerboard, that's the easiest place to play. So the further you go down here, the harder it is to get to things, the harder it is to push things down. And then the further you go down into the lower strings of the guitar, the harder it is to push things down and to play things. So you always start where it's easiest to play. Now, if you are a little bit ambitious, and I definitely recommend this, after you do it on the high E string, see if you can move it to the B string. Now this requires a couple things. You have to move your pick over to the B string. You have to move your first finger over to the B string. Right? So you're going 7, 8, and 9. And again, focus on a light pick and a beautiful sound. When you focus on making a really pretty sound and just enjoying the resonance of the instrument itself, that, in my opinion, is the window in to the musical land. Because musicians at the highest pinnacle, they still focus on that, right? And if you can go ahead and start doing that, then it doesn't really matter how complicated or how hard the music you play is. If you like it, if it's pretty, if it brings you a little bit of joy to interact with this instrument, you're winning every time you pick it up. Okay, cool? So that's my finger spider exercise number 1. There's a lot of different finger exercises, or finger spider exercises that I use. But that's number 1. So check it out, and then let me know what you think. Maybe leave some comments, maybe give some feedback, I don't know. I'm always here to interact with you guys, so if you have any questions, you just let me know. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.